Justice now. Justice now.
Justice now.
Well, hello, and welcome to another broadcast of Obstruction to Justice. I'm Ann Moles, and today we're going to talk about the congressional representatives of the Missouri 5th and 6th districts. Now, you guys know who are local to the greater Kansas City, Missouri area. That's Emmanuel Cleaver of the 5th district and Congressman Sam Graves of the 6th District. Now, what kind of got this going a little bit is that Congressman Sam Graves sent out a survey that is quite timely and very interesting. And we just want you to chime in, talk a little bit about, share a little bit about if you're interested. But the thing about this survey is that it is very timely and it gives you an opportunity to think about, hey, what's coming down the pike? And that's kind of what it's all about. We elect people and we just, trust them to do what's right. And, we really have time? I think we've talked about this before when it comes to voting. Do we really have time to think about or research who is doing what and whether or not they're voting based on what your beliefs are, whether it's in your best interest? There's so many reasons to vote, right? But even better, there's even more reason to get into some research so that you vote for the candidate that has the your best interest at heart, right? I think that's what's important. Not just your best interest, but the best interest of your communities. So you're not going to get a perfect candidate. These guys have, and we're going to kind of chat a little bit about these guys and everything. They've been in the political arena for years. They're career politicians, right? So you're not going to get a perfect politician, just like you're not going to get a perfect person, right? To be whatever or do whatever. You're not going to get a perfect employee. You're not going to get a perfect business person, business partner, or any kind of partner, right? You're not going to get a perfect person, but what you can do is research to make sure that the candidate that you vote for is within using their best interest for not just themselves, right? Because people kind of grease their own palms and pockets and things like that. People are so into self and monetary gain where sometimes they'll just sell out, and we'll see that. I don't know whether or not you guys have gotten this, but if you have, go ahead and share. Big ups to whoever gave a thumb up, right? I like it too. Thanks for the like. Uh, Go ahead and comment and chime in and share if you have something to say about it. But we're going to go ahead and get started on this because it doesn't take all night to do. But I want to give you a chance to really think about what we're talking about here. We're talking about politics, and politics when it has its interest in its best interest, when it comes to business, when it comes to other things. We'll get into it here, but let me go ahead and I'm going to share this here. So meet the congressman. That now they're congressmen, but by all means, ladies, get involved. Get involved in politics. I'd love to see young sisters, come up and just maybe be career politicians too. We have some, we Maxine Waters, and that's the Democratic side. And as far as the who is on the Republican side, I really haven't studied much about it, but this is really an important thing to do. But if you're into politics and you want to make it a career, go ahead and do that, because we do need people who have voices for the community. So shout outs to all the Facebookers, YouTubers, Twitchites. huh? Podcasters, big shout outs to you guys. Now let's go ahead, and I'm gonna go ahead and take a look at this now. Here, this is, I found this information, and just, it may be kind of repeat for those who kind of follow us and everything, and who have actually viewed and listened to some of the broadcasts. But you can find out who your representative is by going to www.house.gov /representatives /find your representative, and put in your zip code. And what that's going to do, that's going to bring up who your representative is. Now, this is would be for whoever. So go ahead and try it. If you're in Kansas, try it. See what comes up. Go out to that website and check it out. If you are in, where else? Oklahoma. Just put in the information and put in your zip code and see what comes up. Now, I put in my information. I put my zip code in, and it came up as one of two. It says your possible representatives. Now, that's kind of interesting because, of course, we, in the Oak Grove, shout out to Oak Grove, Missouri. Yeah, in the Oak Grove area, we're actually on I-70. So we're close by I-70. Now, the two possible representatives in the greater Kansas City, Missouri area, of course, Cleaver, Emmanuel Cleaver. He is a Democrat, and he is the congressman for the Missouri 5th District. Okay. Then you have Sam Graves, who is a Republican, and he is the congressman for Missouri, the Missouri 6th District. Okay. So there are their pictures. And these, like I said, these guys have been doing this for a while. They've been doing this a while. Now, who is Emmanuel Cleaver? For those who don't know, now this is Wikipedia stuff, but it's really it's valid in that those of us who have been around the greater Kansas City, Missouri area for years from Kansas City, shout out to Kansas City, know who Emmanuel Cleaver is. But he is a career politician, but he's also a United Methodist pastor, and an American, great American politician. And I say great because look, he's been doing it a while. He made a decision to do it. Okay, then do it. He's done a lot with his life too. Okay, dude is, in his 70s and everything. He should have accomplished a lot, but he has. And he's the pastor at the United Methodist Church there. I think it's on Paseo. So he's out there, and over the 5th District, he's been in the House of Representatives since 2005. And so he's done a lot. He's written books, American Coup, political thriller. So that's the book that's listed here. Maybe should have been more, but people have time and do what they want to do. So that's Emmanuel Cleaver on the 5th District. Now, the 6th District is Sam Graves. He is, of course, again, a Republican, and he has been in this district since 2001. That's a long time, that's a long time. So even 2005 is a long time to me, huh? 2001 is a long time. Go back and listen and take a look and do some research of the history of what these people have done for their local communities and their greater communities. Let's look here at the information about Sam Graves. Now, Congressman Graves, if you know anything about the Missouri and on the Kansas City side, his district is like north. So you're looking at Interstate 29, Interstate 30, north of the area. So it's on the north side of 70 and kind of way up there, right? That's where his district is. And I pulled some information from ballotpedia.org, which is very resourceful website, very resourceful when it comes to finding information about the different politics, politicians, what they vote for, the bills that they've written, whether or not it's passed. I mean, it is a huge website that really is doing big things, right? So if you want to do your research, I would suggest going out to ballotpedia.org and checking them out. Now, his constituency, this is data, looks like from 2010. Of course, we had the well, when you go out and you do the research and everything, the Census Bureau, the count in 2020. So I don't know if that data is out there yet, but this is kind of old data, 10-year-old data, but it's still data, right? So it looks like the population for Sam Graves, he has a population of about 753 1,729 people. Now, the gender is about 50 50, 49.8 male and 50.2 female. Now, of course, gender is important to me because being female, but you ought to want to know the gender. I think I'd like to know what's going on in the population. We talk about different things as far as population and whether or not women have the proper, if they're getting paid the same as what men are getting paid, what's going on with women. Women are more likely to have children. If we look at the census as far as household, the different households that are headed by women. So if you're looking at the constituency, it's kind of important to know, well, who are you representing, right? So the representation in his area, this is Sam Graves. This is the northern part of the upper Missouri, northwest part of this territory is 50%, sort of 50-50 for women and men. And now what's interesting too, your constituency, you want to know what races are represented in those areas. So it looks like 91.3% are of white descent, European American. White is that when you're looking at the Census Bureau, of course, you have all the different nationalities, those are or who are of European descent, right? So we know where Europe is and the ancestry for people that came over from those countries to the United States and where they reside. So they do go into heritage and what nationality or what heritage you belong to, right? Ethnicity. So if you know that you are Italian American and you're also Irish American. Your mom was an Italian. Your dad was an Irishman. Say. So if you know that you have those heritages in your ancestry, then you were to put that on your census ballot or census information, right? I think everyone got one of those. I filled mine out, right? And it's kind of interesting too, going back to the census a little bit, when it comes to who who is out there, right? European Americans, they didn't know their heritage is much as we did, as far as African Americans. So African American, we are African American. So can we say we belong to the Igbo tribe? We are from Kenya, or we're from South Africa, or we're from Nigeria, and the different tribes in the African countries or continents. We don't know. We don't know. But what's interesting is I talked with quite a few of the census. European Americans don't know either, right? So They didn't know what heritage they belonged to. All right. So here we're going to, oh, I don't know who this is. Uh, we have somebody just putting in a advertisement in the chat. So okay, well we'll delete that later. We're definitely not going to show it. No, we don't want to be famous. We just want to get the word out. All right. If that answers your question, you can just move on. Move on and put that annoying advertisement in someone else's column there. All right. So they didn't know either. But here, we're listed as white or black. Now, again, I consider myself African American. Black to me is a color. So my skin is brown. I don't knock anyone that calls themselves Black Americans. I respond to Black American because I know who that who they are. It's part of my people, my heritage as well. But of course, when you're African American, you're African American. Now, you can also have, when you do those ancestry.com and you go out there and you see, well, you put in and do the swab and put in to see what genetics you are. It could be that, okay, well, maybe you may only be 30% African American, right? And then maybe you're European American, or of other heritage, different parts of the world. That's going to be kind of a different study, but that might be something to look into. What is it? If you're really interested, I think that there's really one important thing, that we are Americans. I think that's the most important thing, and because we live, and our ancestors have come from somewhere. Everyone, unless you're a Native American, and we've all made sacrifices. So, anyway. And then, of course, there's a percentage here for the Black constituency in the area where Sam Graves is. It looks to be 4%. And then there's Asian, 1.2% Asian represented there in that area, and ethnicity. Now, ethnicity, when they say Hispanic, 3.1%. Now, the unemployment rate in that area looks to be 7.8%. Yeah, 7.8% in that area as far as unemployment. And then and this was in 2010. And then the median household income. So, of course, that kind of explains it. It's the average household income. What is what is the average household income of all of the incomes, whether it's, if you're making $20,000 a year household income, or whether you're making 80,000 or more, whatever. What is the median, the average household income? And that looks to be $49,367 a year. So, and this was in 2010. And of course, high school graduation rate is 89.2%. And then you have your college graduation rate at 25.2%, which I think that's just interesting. It's interesting to know, because then you know what population is there and what isn't of interest in his area, right? So you're looking at, it's going to be more, the majority of 91.3%, or the majority of European American descent. And so how's he going to vote? How is he going to vote? He's going to vote because of the majority of who he's representing, right? So that's Congressman Sam Graves. Now, Emmanuel Cleaver, his area is more of the lower part of the state. So you have, it's going to be in our area too here. So when you're looking at the map, you also have, it's going to be part of Lee Summit. It's going to be Blue Springs area. It's going to be out here in this area. Now, it's also going to include the Kansas City, Missouri area. So you're looking, you see that too. And it goes north as far as Richmond, Lawson goes north, and then it goes as far east as Slater, Blackwater, Miami County, Waverly. So those areas, Higginsville, yeah. So that's his area, and that's a pretty big area. As far as the population is concerned, he's got his population is a little less, which is interesting, huh? The districting for that, because his population is 747,573, right? As far as population. Now, this is 2010 data. The gender, he has not as many males as females. So he has 48.2% male and 51.8% female. Okay, so still kind of 50-50, but it's still a little bit less than the females there, and less than the males that are represented in the northern area of the district, the 6th district. So again, this is the 5th district. His representation is 69.2% white or European American. So not as many as what's north of here, right, in the Sam Graves' district. And of course, for the black representation of 21.3%. So that's way more than 4%. Okay. And then you have the 1.7% Asian, and ethnicity for Hispanic, 8.7%. Okay. 8.7%. Now, his unemployment is higher. His unemployment, the constituency unemployed in his area, 10.7%. Oh, I wonder why. I wonder why. Now you had, and that's kind of interesting because here that's still three points more than what Sam Graves, his unemployment rate, 7.8%. Well, 2 point something, but still, you have that's still more. And I think it's because, your constituency. Look, you have African Americans at 21.3%. Now the median household income is less too. So they're making less in these areas. The median household income is $42,572 annually, right? So, yeah, you got that. And that's just interesting. The high school graduation rate is less. That's 86.4%. And so you're up when it comes to unemployment in this area because we're looking at the population. It's about the same. But who is represented in the population is different. Okay, there's more African Americans. There are more Hispanic Americans. About the same when it comes to Asian represented in the area. And then the graduation rate. High school graduation rate is down from the other district, the 6th district. College graduates. Now, college graduates in the 5th district is represented at 24.8%. Okay, so you're looking at it's still less than about 0.7%, half percent or whatever. It's not terrible. There's not a big disparity there. It's just tiny. So we're talking about college graduates. Okay, you got the college graduates, they're there, the representation is there, but the unemployment is higher. Okay, unemployment is higher, even though the college graduation rate is there. Uh, the household income is lower, even though it's just the disparity is there. You can recognize it, and of course, we see that there is there's a difference. There are more African Americans in this district, and there's a disparity in the good numbers that should be represented. I think that the unemployment rate should be lower, right? Or just as neck on neck. What's up there? What's up, North guys? Huh? What's up there? Snow, cold. Hmm? What industries do you have? Casey's? Shout out to Casey's. Well, Dollar General? Hey, Dollar General, I'll be there in a day or two. Yeah, those are my stores too. But what's up there as far as industry? So, your unemployment is lower up there, but you still have the same numbers as far as residency, constituency, people that live there. So what's up there, guys? Who's hiring? Tell me. Put it in there. Put it in the chat. Who is hiring? Big blessings to you, Dr. Clark. Amen. Who's hiring up north to where the unemployment rate is lower? And you're making more money. Have better jobs. Yeah. Is that one income? Yeah. So anyway, that's what's going on with that. And I just think that it's pretty interesting that you're seeing the representation of the constituency people that live in the Missouri's 5th district, which does include the greater Kansas City, Missouri area and the lower part of the state. And of course, the lower part when it comes to the greater Kansas City area, that's Congressman Emmanuel Cleaver, and the upper part of the area, which it's like desert up there. Hello. But better numbers. So maybe moving north, guys, you might find a job up there. Not as much unemployment. I'm not sure what's going on. All right. Now, here is the questionnaire, the survey. Here's the survey. And this is something that Sam Graves, the 5th District representative, sent out. So you can sign up for it. You can go out to the Missouri sites where they talk about, like, Meet Sam Graves, the news. You can click on the news link, go out there and check out and sign up for the different newsletters. I did. Right. I don't know why I haven't gotten one from Emmanuel Cleaver yet. I need to check to make sure that I've subscribed for his newsletter. But seems they found me. So they found me. But I vote too. I vote. I make sure that my voice is heard. I don't care if they're voting on whether or not they should put lines or street light up. I don't care. I'm going to vote. We have the right to vote, and we're going to chat a little bit about that here in a second. So here, he's sent out this questionnaire. It says, as dear friend, as your member of Congress, I would like to know more about your priorities and thoughts on key issues so that I can best represent you and all the people of North Missouri. Please fill out the following questionnaire. Okay, here's the big question. You guys ready? See, this is what they vote on. This is why it's so important to make sure that you vote for the person that is going to represent your interests in your area. Okay. Question 1. Do you support or oppose efforts to defund the police? Yeah. Do you support or oppose efforts to defund the police? Yeah. So, look, in my opinion, and I'm, go ahead and put something in that chat if you want to share on that, yes or no, or really the better is just think about it. Think about it so that you're prepared to answer the question, because it's so important. We're hollering defund the police, not we, some. Some are hollering defund the police. Well, I don't mind the idea of coming up with more resources to share in community discussions. I believe in that. Let's get the resources we need so that there's representation in the communities to where we can this thing through. Talk it out, figure it out, right? I think the communication is the number one key, and then education. Now, of course, education, ASB&C training and consulting. There's nothing like it. Let's get some education and focus, skill focus, and uh, train and teach ourselves in ways to where it will help us be better citizens, better businessmen, business. So here, do I support the efforts to defund the police? No, I don't. I don't think because there's going to need to be somebody policing. Somebody's going to have to police. The truth is, for those of us that may or may not have guns in the home, you may and you may not. Uh, for an emergency or situation, look, when you're in a bad way or when you're needing help or social justice, first thing you want to do is you're picking up the phone to call, to call the police, aren't you? If something bad happens and you need some help, and really, what are you doing? I hate to say it, but when you pick up the phone, you're saying, help, help, huh? So they're send some help, right? So what kind of help can be sent? So, oh, and what do the police have? Hey, good evening, Risa Singleton. Big shout outs to you. You know, we're asking for help. So if you're picking up that phone, you've dialed 911 and they've defunded the police. They're already tight. If you get someone to show up, it's going to be a miracle on it. I don't care where you are. Yeah. They're not going to show up right away. They're going to show up to some of the most important, maybe. Who knows? But you're calling to ask for help. That's the main thing. And if you defund the police, then who's going to show up to help? Well, another thing, if they keep pressuring this, I'm thinking, and this is just me, this is just in my opinion, but if there's no local police, then who's next? Who's next in line to send help? If the state can't handle it, or yeah, maybe the state, maybe the sheriff, yeah, maybe the county mountie. But really, if your local police can't handle it and there's a shortage there, who else can step in? That's military, martial law. Yeah. So you're saying, okay, I'm going to defund my local government, but let things get too out of hand. Guess who's going to step in? That military. Now, do I want tanks rolling in my street down? Hey, it wouldn't bother me as long as they wouldn't roll over my little van. But usually it's parked in the garage. But still, actually it would. It's a big scary thing. To me, it would be too big and too scary to have the military rolling down the street. Because how do military guys? We have issues. We definitely do. And big shout out to the families that are making their discoveries and fighting for justice in the court system for old injustice that has not been answered or held accountability or hasn't been given, and help for that situation hasn't been given. So I'm very sensitive, and I think we all should be very sensitive to those that are dealing with the oppression and has lost loved ones to bad decisions. We were listening to a radio broadcast today, and one of the issues is that there's no real way to handle a situation. So the police, that's in their mind. So what about the training? Defund the police? I think more training. Train them to get them in shape to where they're not so scary. The first you're just rolling down the way and you're gonna roll over here and what seems to be the problem, you know, and you're not in shape to handle the problem, or you're not dealing hand to hand combat. I don't know whatever it takes, but I think even to know the difference between a taser and a gun, you know, of course, they are similar when it comes to hardware and configurations. I went and participated in the local police academy here in Oak Grove. Shout out to the Oak Grove Police Department. Yeah. So I participated in that, and they wanted some volunteers to uh, to experience the taser. I'm like, no, that's not going to happen. And that was, I didn't have to say it. The look on my face was, no, that's not going to happen. But those police officers, train them. They're in training. They have the software and the other virtual virtual we experience the virtual range and shooting, and how do you deal with unexpected surprises. We cleared a building, but let's go back to how do you deal with the unexpected surprises. That software really was, it's like an arcade, but it was very, very real because I walked through it. And yeah, you really do have to train. Everybody, by the time I got through, I was walking through and I don't think anybody was standing. And, because I was so lousy at it. But how can you tell the difference? Here, you're a veteran. What is it to where is it a mistake? And why does it have to be a fatal mistake? So, in defunding the police, I think that there should be more training on all the levels of communication, the sensitivity training, and the getting in shape to where you'll have more confidence. There's got to be plans, but I don't want this to get to the point to where there are tanks rolling in the street, because trust me, somebody's going to police. Somebody's going to police. And if you balk loud enough, if you have the loudest whiner, the squeaky wheel gets the oil, right? So if you balk loud enough, maybe there'll be an experiment, because we know where all this is going anyway. Yeah. So I think that would not be a good idea. So do you support or oppose efforts to defund the police? You answer that question. I just did. So you have to answer that question for yourself. And I would say answer it. Think about it. All right. So what's next? Uh, do you support or oppose more gun control regulations? Oh, see where this is going? Yeah. Get rid of the police. Here comes the military. Get rid of the guns. Huh? You're less of a threat. Anyway, do you support or oppose more gun control regulations? And that's something to think about, right? The regulations, I think, can probably be better. I mean, it shouldn't be easy for a person with mental illness or a person that has had issues with domestic violence. Um, eh, I don't think that those people should be able to get guns quickly. Definitely look at the gun control, look at the regulations that are already in place. And then from there, I think that things do need to be revised because of the situations. I don't know that we haven't really heard the numbers yet from COVID, but I really have heard about different domestic issues, people being having to be in close quarters, and the domestic violence, domestic issues increase because of what, anger, frustration, unemployment. So did the stimulus checks calm things down? Huh? So okay, well we better give this brother or this white or black doesn't matter. We better give this guy some money so that he can calm down. I mean, I don't know. It just seems like there's just a lot of uh, could be. I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but yes, I do believe that there should be a review. And of course, that takes time, that takes money, but it should be a continual thing to where you can review what's going on, making sure that laws aren't to be put on books and then forgotten about, right? So we would put in politicians so that they would keep an eye on what's going on, right? Not just putting out fires, but that's what these committees are for. Because even Sam Graves, he's part of a committee, the Interior Infrastructure, and we're going to see that in number 5 here. So, yeah, I think that they should be reviewed and make sure that they're still in it where they need to be because this isn't the Wild West anymore, right? We're not, this isn't Gunsmoke for all of you guys that remember that TV show. This isn't the Wild West. This is a civilized, yeah, that we're a community. We're a nation of people. And but at the same time, we do believe in civil liberties, so where we do have the right to have them so that we can protect ourselves. Um, but if you take away the police, then you want to regulate the gun. See, it's a little much. It's a little much. Something to think about. Number 3, do you support or oppose stronger enforcement on our immigration laws, including building a border wall? Yeah, well, there's already been a wall down there. There's been a fence, there's already been border patrols. As far as immigration laws, I think that there are laws in place for immigration. You want to come into the United States and be an American citizen, or you have a visa. I think what they're talking about are people coming into the United States, and they're poor people, they're desperate people, they're people that may have not gotten jobs over in their country, Mexico border. That's what you're talking about, the border wall, and then they want to come over here to work. Well, there's work is an honorable thing. It's a good thing. How and then too, the labor in itself. These are jobs that are jobs that do pay, but right, we don't have no more slavery. See, so somebody's got to go pick the cotton, huh? Somebody's got to go pick them apples, them peaches, and them pears, or whatever, right? So that's what turning the blind eye to people coming over. You're providing a job, and it's kind of funny. And I'm not going to go biblical on this one, but I'm going to think about it because there's you're not supposed to glean everything to where the poor don't have a place to come to make and eat, right? To make a living and eat. I think that there should be something in place because people are dying coming over here. That and children, they're dying, and that's not cool. I think that there should be something in place, but stronger enforcement of our immigration laws. I think that there should be something to help protect those that are making that decision to come over and to help in any kind of way we can. Now, these are brown people doing this. If they were, I don't know, America's borders are, what is it? If you have money, the influence, the affluent, whatever, you can come over and get the visa, or you want to come over and study, you can do that. If you're from China, whatever, any other country, come over and study, you can do that. But if you're going to just jump over the wall, there's an issue with that. And I think people are just dying, and it's hurting. People are they're hurting themselves to make that effort, but there should be something to help on both ends. Uh, Yeah, including building a border wall. There was already something down there, you know. I don't get it. So I'll have to study that some more. This wasn't an issue 20 years ago. It was already down there, right? Well, why now? You know, I think that this is a question of who's jumping the wall, who's jumping the fence, right? And from there it just goes on. So, do I support stronger enforcement of our immigration laws? I don't support that, but I think that something needs to be done to help people because they're hurting themselves coming over. Okay, do you support or oppose adding additional justices to the Supreme Court known as packing the court? Uh, well, the Supreme Court justices that we've had have already been there, right? So it's been working all these years. Why pack the court? Why put more? Is it going to be a better vote? I don't know. So all right. Risa says oppose. I support more gun control regulations. And Risa, thank you for that. So we're gonna go ahead and put that up. Beautiful sister there. I support more gun control regulations. All right. And this one, I think the border laws need to be looked into. Yeah. Yeah. I do too. All right. Good. And, so when we're looking at the uh, packing the court, I think that they're just to what advantage, right? You're a Democrat, you're a Republican, you tend to vote conservatively, you tend to vote liberally. Laws are laws, and the Supreme Court, they're there to interpret the laws. They're there to interpret the laws and to make it more clear based on their level of understanding. They're the Supreme Court, right? So adding to it additional justices, why? If that's the case, no, I don't support. I oppose adding additional justices. I don't see the reasoning as far as why the number of the court justice system that has been there uh, since court has been there. The Supreme Court has been there. Has been they've worked as well as they're going to work. I think they're saying, okay, well, you get to vote more in. Maybe I'll get someone to vote the way I want to vote. Well, I think that that's kind of where you get a chance to allow for that, because the president actually can ask, present someone to be on the Supreme Court, and then there's a vote there to see. Uh, no, I oppose that. All right, number 5. Should an infrastructure bill be focused solely on traditional infrastructure like roads and bridges, or include other items like housing and electric vehicle chargers, as the president has proposed? Infrastructure. Well, they're going with electric cars. Electric cars, electric vehicle chargers. You know, what makes the electricity? Hmm? What makes the electricity? The best source of energy is the sun, I think. All right. So I'm going to hold off on that thought here. Uh, let's see. Yeah. So I think we're talking about Riza as far as the adding more to the Supreme Court, adding more justices to the Supreme Court. And I believe Riza says absolutely not. Not in the traditional sense. Yeah. Yeah. Who wants to do that? All right. So here we go. As far as infrastructure, let's go to that. So the infrastructure, they're wanting the bill to either be solely focused on roads and bridges or include other items like housing and electric vehicle chargers. Infrastructure. Traditionally, it's been roads and bridges. So, how we hear a lot about the bridges. We've been hearing the complaints that they're so old and they're ready to come down. The bridges are very old. The infrastructure was built, the old highways and the interstate. So they're pretty old too. There's work that can be done on them. The bridges, I think, need to definitely be looked at. So I'm kind of a focused kind of a person because if we add everything else, then it's just going to take away from really focusing on the real problem, which infrastructure. I believe the real problem is roads and bridges. If I'm driving over a bridge, I don't want that thing coming down. I just don't want it coming down. I don't want it coming down on anyone. So, and we're talking about there's so many bridges out there that need to be looked at. Huh? Yeah. So here's Risa. She's saying include other. I'm not sure about the electrical charger. I'm not sure about the electrical chargers for cars, though. I'm not sure about include other. So she's saying that she would like to have it include other too, but not sure about the electrical chargers for cars. So the bill should include the roads and bridges and the electrical chargers for the cars. Yeah, that's what she's saying. Yeah, not a bad idea. It's just will they focus to fix the roads and bridges? Because what we've experienced in the past is they'll say, okay, well this is for the roads and bridges, and still nothing gets fixed. I remember working with the team, and the team was saying, okay, well we need these donations, and these donations are going to go specifically for this particular item. And I'm like, okay, well, this item is needed and I need this item to keep participating. So I'm going to go ahead and pay mine off, right? Well, then come to find out they took that resource, that money, and paid something totally different, right? So, I mean, based on what we agreed on, that didn't even get handled because they took the money and put it towards something else. And that's my concern about how things happen when you start bundling all of these things. So much fat in these bills already and fine tuning. And it says even housing, huh? Infrastructure housing. Well, what's that going to do? The real estate market taxes are already going up. Yeah, the property taxes, real estate taxes are already going up in Jackson County. And what the worth, the value, property value, what it was worth, a home back in Blue Springs, $120,000 home back in 2000, 2001, it was 120,000, and now just the worth of it, I mean, it just went up, right? So it's like over 200,000. It's double that. Same raggedy house. Same property, you know. So what are we looking at? Infrastructure, the value of it. So what are they really wanting to include? Housing and electric vehicle chargers. Okay. So electric cars, have you ever driven an electric car? I you ever driven an electric car? Now, I'm not trying to bash those who drive electric cars. Hmm? Yeah, I'm not trying to bash you. If you drive an electric car, you know, go for it. Drive it. But if you can. But I like to get up and get on that highway. Yeah, and I'm not doing it in an electric car. I mean, look, it's quiet. You know, energy efficient, but see, that's still electricity. So what are we doing? You're not going to go as fast. Give me a Dodge any day, huh? Give me a Dodge, and I'm gonna put my foot on that. That muscle car. Ooh, it looks good too, right? My little van. She gets up and she goes. Gas, not electric. No. Hmm? And then you're talking about electricity. What does it take to generate electricity, guys? Yeah, generating electricity is not cheap. It's not cheap. It takes energy, other energy like nuclear or coal. Mm, And we're not into wind energy. I don't think solar energy. I don't think there's just not enough mass ways of generating energy. There was a campaign by the big tech people. They were saying, okay, anyone that could come up with an idea to develop energy, let us have it. Let us know. Yeah, and it's still that just kind of went away. Yeah, it went away, but it's still a very valid thing that needs to happen. So the electricity. What are we really saving on? So you're taking it from the oil and oil refineries and all that, and to produce the gasoline, but then here you still have to produce that electricity, electric cars. So what are we doing? We're just switching things around. In long term, what's going to be the better form of energy? Hmm? Uh, Really, I need to get to work. I need to get to an appointment. I need to, I need to get to the office. I'm going to step on some gas. I'm not trying to ease my way. I'm trying to get there. Yeah, I think that they should come up with a solar car. There's free. It's free. It's out there. The sun. He generates all kinds of things, all kinds of energy for us. So I think they should come up with the solar car. Housing, I think they've already twisted things around and we're in the dumps already when it comes to the dollar. We're in debt. Um, I think it'd just be a sneaky way to do something. I don't know. I'm just not into it. So I would say, I would say to that question, should an infrastructure bill be focused solely on traditional infrastructure like roads and bridges? Yes. Yes, we should focus on traditional infrastructure. That's me. That's what I say. All right. And then he also has a section here. Is there anything else you'd like me to know? See, this is a congressman that is being very proactive, I think. So, yeah, of course, he's going to I don't know how he votes. He's a pretty clean guy. He's a Republican, and he's been pretty clean, pretty standard when it comes to Republican voting in the Republican format, and what Republicans kind of get together and say, hey, how are we going to vote? He traditionally votes with the Republican. Yeah, so anyway, pretty good survey. Pretty good. And then once you complete it, and it's just a little dot thing, right? So you select what you like, and then you click the submit button. And then you can also click to open in a separate window. You don't have to do it right from your email. This came to my email, very convenient, and it gave me a way to where I can kind of check it out and think about it. It says by submitting this survey, you agree to receive email updates from Congressman Graves. Not a problem. Look, I see what you guys are doing. Pretty transparent. That's cool. Now, I also believe every every form of life has already been accounted for. Form of life, business, relationships has already been accounted for and documented. I believe that. So I'm like, okay, well, it has. Does the Bible say? I'm a Christian. I am. I'm a Christian. Okay, I let the cat out of the bag. 30 years ago. Yes. So it's like, okay, what does the Bible say about voting? So I turn to Deuteronomy chapter 1, verse 13, and this is in the English Standard Version. It says, choose your tribes wisely, understanding and experienced men, and I will appoint them as your heads. So we know God was saying that, right? Choose your tribes wisely, understanding and experienced men, and I will appoint them as your heads. So when you're voting, choose somebody that's understanding and experienced and has it going on. I don't know. It's a lot happening, but they should understand enough to fight the battles that make a difference to the people, to help the people that they're representing. All right, Romans 13, 1 through 14. Let every person be subject to the governing authorities, for there is no authority except from God, and those that exist have been instituted by God. Therefore, whoever resists the authorities resists what God has appointed, and those who resist will incur judgment. For rulers are not a terror to good conduct, but to bad. Would you have no fear of the one who is in authority? Then do what is good, and you will receive his approval, for he is God's servant for your good. But if you do wrong, be afraid, for he does not bear the sword in vain. For he is the servant of God, an avenger who carries out God's wrath on the wrongdoer. Therefore, one must be in subjection not only to avoid God's wrath, but also for the sake of conscience. Okay, so what does that mean? Yeah, let's put people in there. Let's vote and where we're comfortable with the decisions that are being made so that we can uh, make sure that, yeah, if he's appointed, he's going to represent what's right, what's good. And we won't have a problem with following, working with people that are understanding and good conscience and, for the sake of good conscience and who are experienced in what they're doing. Okay, Proverbs 29 2. This is the last one. When the righteous increase, when the righteous increase, the people rejoice. When the righteous increase, the people rejoice. But when the wicked rule, the people groan. What does that say to me? That means that, look, I'm gonna get out there and vote. I'm gonna research these people. I'm going to research what they're what they're having to make a decision about. And why should they make the decision by themselves? Those are some pretty big things to do. We're not, and don't be lazy. I don't want to be lazy and put all the burden on our representatives. Yeah, I don't think that's fair. That's not his job. His job is to represent, not make decisions for me. I'm a grown woman. I can make I can make some decisions. Yeah, I'm a grown woman. I don't have to sit up and let somebody just live and just let somebody else make the decisions for me. That's why I believe we're in the big mess we're in now. We've been too tired, too busy, too frustrated, too broke, too whatever, you know, to where we've just let people just make whatever decision that they think is best, or not so best. But I think that as young people coming up, shout out to all the youngsters. Research, research, and read all of the information available to you. That's why I include scripture. You better believe it. That right there is going to get us to the truth because it is the word of truth. Whether you realize it or not, whether you accept it or not, just try it. Yeah, that's what I do. I'm like, okay, well, this is what it says. Let me try it. I found that it's true. I found that it works. So, yeah, we don't want to put people in that are not good. Hmm? All right. We don't want to put people in that are not good. We'll have trouble. Okay, last slide here, and here it is. Customer success. We have a customer success class this Saturday. We usually have classes at ASBNC Training and Consulting on Saturdays. That is kind of a pretty popular day in that people don't have to go to work or be bothered with being shuffling between having to do their job and also attend class. Well, this customer success class is a really cool class. We usually have it for our corporate sponsors or corporate representatives, people that work in the corporate arena, so that they send their people in, and we get a chance to train them and about what customer success is all about. Customer service, learn about providing customer service to all, and how to keep a customer happy and learn how to build customer loyalty. So we practice scenarios. Now, it's kind of a short class because it's only 4 hours. We do take breaks in there. But when you walk away, as with all of our classes, we just don't leave you there. We don't leave you at the end of the class. Thank you, and we'll see you later. We will work with you. So, scenarios, and we have some other options and opportunities for you to participate outside of the class, and you kind of an extension and to continue on with your learning process and everything. It's a lot of fun. So go ahead and check that class out, and you can, definitely go out to the ASBNC Training and Consulting, asbnc.com, www.asbnc.com, and we'll definitely work with you and get you enrolled there. And it's this Saturday, so we have them periodically too, so you'll get a chance to sign up. If you don't have time this Saturday, we'll get a chance to get you signed up at another time. Okay. All right. Well, there you go. There you go. Big shout outs to our congressman in the greater Kansas City area, Congressman Emmanuel Cleaver and Congressman Sam Graves. I think we went through some things. You guys do your own research. This is your life. You don't want anyone else to live your life for you and make decisions that aren't in your best interest. No, you don't want that. And I definitely don't want that. So I would suggest that we all make sure that we're learning about what's going on and taking advantage of the resources that are out there to do some quick research. And this is just an opportunity to help you do that. All right, then. I had a great time. Had a good time. Thanks for joining. Thanks for chatting, Riza, and everyone. And if the Lord says the same, yeah, we'll see you next time.
Justice now.
Justice now.